You know, you probably click on things hundreds, maybe thousands of times a day without even thinking about it. But have you ever wondered what's actually going on in that split second between your finger pressing down and a new window popping up? Well, today, we're going to follow the journey of that one single click to see what's really happening under the hood.
It feels completely instant, right? You click an icon, a program opens. Simple. But that one action kicks off this incredible, super fast chain reaction inside your computer. So let's pull back the curtain and trace that reaction step by step. Believe it or not, pretty much everything your computer does, from playing a high-end video game to just sending an email, it all boils down to these four basic jobs. It takes information in, it thinks about it, it shows you the result, and then it saves it for later. And that is the exact path our little click is about to take.
Okay, so first things first. The computer's just sitting there, waiting. It needs you to tell it what to do, and this is called input. Every single command, every piece of data you give your device, it all starts right here.
Now, these are the inputs we're all familiar with, the ones we're consciously using every day. You know, you type on a keyboard, you move a mouse around, you talk into a microphone. In each case, you're actively giving the computer a direct command. You're basically saying, "Hey, computer, do this."
But here's where it gets kind of cool. Your device is also taking in a ton of information that you're not even thinking about. Like when you turn your phone sideways and the screen rotates, that's the accelerometer and gyroscope doing their thing. Or when the screen automatically gets dimmer in a dark room, that's the light sensor at work. These are the hidden inputs, and they're constantly gathering data from the world around you.
Okay, so the computer has your command, your click. Now what? Well, it sends that signal straight to the digital brain of the whole operation. This is where the real magic, the real thinking happens.
And that brain has a name, the Central Processing Unit, or CPU for short. The brain analogy is perfect, really. It's the command center. It gets every instruction, it does all the math, and it tells every other part of the computer what to do. It is the absolute heart of the machine. Now, to do all that work, the CPU needs a workspace. And this is where two terms you've definitely heard, RAM and storage, can get a little confusing. The absolute best way to think about it is like this. RAM is your workbench, holding all the tools and parts for the project you're working on right now. Storage, on the other hand, is the big filing cabinet where you put everything away when you're done. And here's the crucial difference. RAM, your workbench, is super fast, but it's temporary. When you open a program, the CPU grabs it from that slower filing cabinet, which is your storage, and slaps it onto the RAM so it can get to it instantly. But the second you turn off the power, that workbench is wiped completely clean. Poof, gone.
So just how fast is this brain we're talking about? Well, a CPU speed is measured in something called gigahertz, and that number tells you how many instruction cycles it can chew through every single second. And honestly, the scale of this is just mind-boggling.
For example, a pretty standard speed for a decent laptop today might be something like 3.5 gigahertz. It's just a number you see on the box, but what does it actually mean?
It means that every single second, that little chip can process 3.5 billion commands. With a B. Think about that. That incredible speed is the engine that makes your click feel totally instantaneous.
All right, so the CPU has done its job. It's processed the command. Now the computer needs to show you the result. This step is called output. It's how the machine talks back to us in the real world. And when that output is something you can see, it all comes down to this one little thing, the pixel. Every single letter, every icon, every video you see on your screen is actually made up of millions of these tiny little red, green, and blue dots of light, all working together to form a picture. So your monitor is obviously the main output device, using all those pixels to show you what's going on. But output isn't just visual. It's the sound coming from your speakers, or even a physical page coming out of your printer. Really, it's any way the computer sends that processed information back out to you.
So you've done your work, the result is on the screen, but you don't want to lose it all when you turn the power off. And this brings us to that fourth and final function, storage. It's time to put our work away in that long-term filing cabinet.
But, you know, not all filing cabinets are created equal. Older computers used hard disk drives. These things had actual spinning metal platters inside. Modern machines use what's called solid-state drives, or SSDs, which have no moving parts at all. And the speed differences, well, you can see it right here. It's dramatic. This is the single biggest reason why a new computer feels so much faster when you're booting it up or opening files. And of course, today, our filing cabinet doesn't even have to be in our house. That's what cloud storage is all about. Your files actually live on the internet, on some giant server owned by a company like Google or Apple. And the huge advantage there? You can get to your stuff from any device, anywhere you have an internet connection. So that's it. That's the full digital cycle your Click goes through. Input, process, output, and storage. But how does that whole internal journey connect with us out here in the physical world? Well, that happens through ports, and maybe just as important, through our own bodies.
You can think of these ports as the actual physical doors that let information in and out of your computer. You plug your mouse into a USB port to give it input. You plug your monitor into an HDMI port to get visual output. They are literally the gateways between the digital world and the physical one.
And this brings up a really important final point about the most critical connection of all, the one between the machine and you. I mean, we've talked all about how the computer works, but it's worth asking, how does it work with you? All this incredible tech, it should be set up to serve us, not the other way around.
And there's a whole science for this. It's called ergonomics. It's just about making sure your physical setup is healthy and efficient. Because if you're uncomfortable, you're not going to be very effective, right? So just take a quick second to check. Is your monitor at eye level? Does your chair support your back? These little adjustments can make a huge difference in your day.
So let's end with this thought. We started this whole journey with a simple click on a mouse. But as computers start to disappear into our environment, into our homes, our cars, our clothes, the very idea of input and output starts to get blurry. What does it even mean to click on your smart home? It's a fascinating question to think about as this technology continues to evolve all around us.